Hey kids, as you know, I can't be here with you today because I have to be at the doctor's. So you're about to have your Der, Die, and Das quiz, so we're going to go over some of the Der, Die, and Das's. So say them after me. Die Brille, das Handy, der Rucksack, der Radiergummi. Try to guess them before I say them. Das Heft, das Buch, die CD, der Computer, der Bleistift, der Lehrer, die Lehrerin, die Schultasche. Do the same thing with this set. Try to guess them before I say them. What's the first one? Der Schüler, die Schülerin, die Katze, der Hund, die Schulsachen. That's plural, so it has to be die. Die Schuhe. That's also plural, so it has to be die. Die Schule. And the last row doesn't have der, dies, or das. They're just Musik, Band, Deutsch, and English. Did you remember them all? Now you're going to play a review game to help you review your Der, Dies, and Das's before you actually have the quiz. You can see a game board. You're going to get a game board like it that has all these pictures on it. And the point of the game is to have more initials in the boxes than your partner when the game is over. You will get a certain amount of time to play, and when time is up, you count your initials. So you're each going to need a dry erase marker because I believe the game boards you have are laminated. And you'll each need a die. You'll have a die. Roll it into the cup and keep it that way so it doesn't roll all over the floor. If it falls onto the floor, it's your job to pick it up, to find it, even if you have to crawl around on the floor to get it. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to roll the die, and you look at the number. You're going to go that far on the board, however far your number says. Now, I did forget to tell you, you're going to start where it says start. So you should each come up with a little object that you can put in the start place, like a little eraser that comes off or a paper clip, something little like that. So you're going to be at the start. You're going to roll the die one time. You're going to go that many spaces. You can go up or you can go across, but you can't go both in the same turn. You have to choose. So if you go where there's start, you go up to the dog, you go up to the teacher, there's a border there. So if you roll more than two, you're going to bounce off of the edge of the game board and come back the same way. That's why we call it bounce. So if you get a 3, you go up to the dog, you go up to the teacher, you bounce back to the dog, you land on the dog. If you can say the word for the dog correctly in German, you initial that box and nobody else can have it. The next time you roll your die, you can go up and down again, or you can go across. Now there is one problem with this game. When you're at start, if you get a 1, 2, 3, 4, if you get a 4, you're going, any way you go, you're going to end up at start. So if you're on start and you roll a 4, you can re-roll until you get something that you can actually land on. Now if you land on a blank space, you kind of lose your turn. There's nothing there for you to guess, so you can't win it. So blank spaces are just like lose a turn spots. So they don't count. So you continue playing, you rolling and going up and down or across, and your partner rolling and going up and down or across until time is up. You want to get the most spaces said correctly so you can initial it, and then you will win the game at the end of the playing time. At the end of the playing time, there will be a quiz. If you and your partner aren't sure if it's Der, Die, or Das, you can't decide on it, well then you should stop, look it up, and see who is correct and do it that way. There shouldn't really be hardly any ties, so I expect you to not cheat. Your substitute will write down the name of the winner and let me know who won each game. You should be playing in a group of 2 to 4. 2 is a little low. I prefer 3. More than 4 is too big. So somewhere from 2 to 4, you start at start, roll the die, go up and down or across, not both in the same time. If you land on start the first time, you can roll again until you get something. Empty spaces are nothing. If you correctly say the Der, Die, or Das plus the word, you initial that spot. You want to have the most initials when the game is over. So now your substitute is going to pause this video so you can play and then take the quiz. Okay, now you should have finished taking the quiz. Hopefully it was pretty easy and you'll get pretty good grades. We're going to review plurals now. So here are the basic rules for plurals. Number 1, all plural words become die. You already know this. If it's der Hund, when it's plural, it's die Hunde. If it's das Buch, in the plural, it's die Bücher. That's the easiest thing about plurals, is that they're all die. Always start with die if you have a plural. But there's many endings for the plurals in German, so you just mostly have to memorize them, although there are some patterns. So it's difficult to remember. If you forget what one is, you need to look it up. You can use your dictionary in the book. The books are behind my cart on that rolling cart. But you can also look in your vocabulary book on page 5. I wrote all the plural endings down, and I even put the plurals on the page about just below halfway down, already spelled out for you. So that's where you can look to find them when you practice, but sadly not on your quiz. So here are some examples. You can't see the answer, but Hund is a der word. It takes an E ending, so it's die Hunde. Handy is a das word. It takes an S ending, so it's die Handys. Okay, now you're going to practice by doing a couple of worksheets for me. Your substitute will show them under the Elmo and show you what you need to do. For the most part, you pretty much need to write the plural forms of the singular forms given. Again, use page 5 in your orange books. I have all the endings there, and I wrote them out for you. On some of them, you might have to write the singular version. If I gave you the plural, you might have to write the singular. But either way, you're practicing your plurals, and your homework is that you are going to have a plurals quiz next time. The only plurals that will be on your quiz are the words on page 5. The vocabulary that's listed at the top half that have the little dashes and the plural endings, those are the only ones that are fair game. I will not give you the plural quiz on anything else. So I'll see you next time. Be ready for your quiz.